So that's good. Okay, the formation is good, right? The comment is good. Okay. Please make your way to a seat. We're gonna get started with our speaker. I don't know how far that goes. She can use either. That one's technically plugged in, but the cable's a little small today for some reason. So uh let's see. Can you get where you need to go on the stage with that? It should just be on. You want to give it a quick hello? Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, on the lights. The sound of yeah. It's quite. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. You want to use the other one? Yeah. That's fine. People are most excited and me, right? Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Innovate Pasadena's Friday Coffee Meetup. I'm excited to see all of you. I'm Marcia Swallow. I've been coming to Friday Coffee for a while now, and I'm sure you see me around at other Pasadena tech events. I'm so excited to be up here today, and thank you all for coming out on this rainy morning. I know sometimes that shuts down traffic and things in Los Angeles. Our speaker today is really awesome. And before I get to her, though, I want to give a shout out to all the people who helped make this amazing event happen. We have so many volunteers. If you're a volunteer, can you just stand up or raise your hand? Yay! Thank you everybody so much. And then I want to thank our sponsors, Echo Factory and Innovate Pasadena, the Caltech. I also want to thank our generous host, Founder Space, for the use of this space. And if you are interested in using their working space, take some time to check it out, and their office is right next to you. We also want to thank Ken Funashi and Wilson Sansini for sponsoring the coffee, and Rosebud Coffee for providing it. So before we get started, we want to get to know some about you. So where's John? Eating a donut. We're going to get him to wander around and ask some of you about yourselves.
Oh, I thought you were going to do it.
No, we got to share the
Morning. My name is John Chow. Been a volunteer and co-organizer of Friday Coffee Meetup for over 10 years now. So know a lot of the history here, and talking to a few people here. I'm going to Cedric.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to just give us a 30-second introduction about yourself, why you came to this event, and what is it that you're working on?
Hi everyone, my name is Cedric. I'm obviously French, and I'm not faking. I'm here because I want to meet a lot of people. I need to expand my network. I like building companies and building projects to save the world, also for a billion. So.
And I tell people, if I'm a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch, then I'm here to find that next billionaire before they become a billionaire so that I can help manage their wealth. This is also very unique that this morning we have a couple of students from Caltech. In the past, we haven't had any undergraduates, but thanks to Elle, she invited them over. And so just tell them the group a little bit about yourself, your name, what you're majoring in, and why you decided to come.
Hello everyone, my name is Ivan. I'm a freshman at Caltech. I don't know, so someone just invited me. I wanted to see what it is. I was just curious. I'm studying mechanical engineering, and I like planes and rockets. So that's kind of it.
Hello, my name is Sasha. I'm also a freshman from Caltech, and I studied physics and astrophysics. And I came here like to meet new people and also by curiosity because I have never attended something similar before.
Well, welcome. And we have had some speakers from Caltech in the past, and definitely some people that talked about the aerospace industry. And so hopefully, there's people here that you can connect with. I'll take a couple of volunteers if you'd like to introduce yourself and let the group know what it is that you do. I've got Gene all the way in the back. He's been a speaker of ours for Friday Coffee Meetup.
Everybody, Gene, a long time Innovate Pasadena, Friday Coffee speaker, and I'm in tech. And I just want to give a quick plug. We have a huge tech conference coming up in March, Scale, Southern California Linux Expo. It's $80. It's like the cheapest 4-day, all volunteer tech, super geeky tech conference you'll ever attend. I'm giving a talk on everything I need to learn about AI ML. I learned from a Southern California or Pasadena startup 20 years ago. I worked at Overture Yahoo. We invented sponsor search. So a 10 scale, highly recommended.
And Innovate Pasadena was a collaboration, again, going back about 10 years ago between City of Pasadena, Caltech, and Art Center College of Design. And so we have Rob, who is the president of Innovate Pasadena. Would you like to tell the group a little bit about what Innovate Pasadena does?
Absolutely. Thanks, John. So Innovate Pasadena is a networking organization that focuses on B2B and hard science startups, founders, investors, and companies. So if you're in that space and you want to connect with other folks who are in that space as well, reach out to any one of us, whether it's the IP team or the Friday Coffee team. We're all one family, and we'll be happy to connect you. Thanks for attending.
And I thought I saw somebody from Pasadena Angels this morning. Let's see. I don't see her. She might have left because she was afraid that you guys would start asking for money. So, but we have had some angel investors attend our meetings. They are looking for opportunities. Your tech startup, continue to come to these events. It used to happen on a weekly basis. Now it's once a month. But pitch your idea and get some feedback. And that way, if there's anything that we can do as a group to help you, more than happy to.
Thanks, John. I wanted to remind you to follow us on socials. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. If you take some pictures, feel free to tag us. It can be super awesome. We can get more people for next month. So today we're going to be hearing from Ami Singh. Traditional manufacturing comes with high tooling costs and long lead times, making it challenging for startups and innovators to bring new products to market. So in this talk, Ami shares how hybrid tooling, combining 3D printing and traditional manufacturing, offers a more flexible, cost-effective solution for product development. So she's going to discuss real-world applications and lessons from her experience leading Amazing Lab and how startups can leverage this approach to validate ideas without massive upfront costs. So there'll be a moderated Q&A at the end, so please hold your questions until the end, and welcome Ami to the stage.
Thank you, Masha, for the warm intro. And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So this is my honor to be able to share my experience here with all of you. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Holly and Al, for inviting me to be speaker for all of you today. Let me ask some question first. So I know we have a good mix of audience today. So there are angel investor, and we have students in the engineering department. And do we have someone like from the IT and software and great, great. So I would really like to connect more with the IT and AI, like kind of people, because that is how the hardware and the software meet up, not only the coffee. So let's do a brief intro. So I went to USC. I'm a double Trojans. I went to USC. I got my Trojans here. Hi, God. So I am a double Trojans. I got my business administration in global marketing and later global EMBA from the University of Southern California. And I love, everything with the global at the beginning because that, that makes me feel like, I got this degree and I gotta do some projects. That means, I will have chance to travel around the world, right?
And when I started my career with sales and marketing, I'm a proud mom of a 2 years old Frenchie. With her, her name is Javier. I call her Cavi. And I am a tennis lover. I can play tennis like every day. I after I graduated undergrad from USC, I moved back to Hong Kong. I worked there for almost like 15 years before I recently moved back to the California. So I was the founding ladies of the Hong Kong 3D Printing Association and currently the ambassador of the Women in 3D Printing, a global organization that connected, people with love in the additive manufacturing. And I'm also the founder of my own venture, Amazing Lab. So I was born in a manufacturer family. My grandfather was the chief engineer of one of the biggest steel factory in our home country. And my dad, he also run his own manufacturer making precision tooling and metal components. So I might do something different from that. So when I went to university, I'm not that almost like senior and like sophomore, like students, wearing suit in a business school, getting ready for the presentation. And that was what I wanted to do. So I pursued business administration and studied global marketing. I'm lucky to, to be able to get a job right after I graduated. But, I think life has some like plan for me. One day, my family called me and told me, some bad news. My mom got diagnosis with cancer. So I got to quit my job, um, move back home to take care of the family. And that's how I joined the family manufacturing business. And at the beginning, I took over my mom's role immediately, and she was mainly overlooking the business, managing the P&L, operation, those kind of role. But eventually, I started to get more into, the engineer side of the business. So I started to actively get involved with a lot of the product development projects. And at that time, our company had employed over 800 workers. And we have production department, including the tooling department, CNC department, CNC machining department, die cast department, painting department, polishing department, and assembly. It's I would say, mid-sized factory, but I learned a lot from that experience. And besides running the the factory like internally, I like also like the most valuable experience is to get involved with going out there to work with our clients. Mainly they are like global consumer products brand. We work with the engineer and the designer all over the world, like in some of the new product development stage. So we have clients in all the way in US, of course, and Europe, countries like Germany, Italy, Amsterdam, and Australia. So I've been like traveling around the world for the past 10 years. And I think uh, over the years, I have visited, over thousands of factories from the most raw material to the most high-tech automated assembly line factory. I visited the biggest glass factory in the world to make all the iPhone, iPad, and iWatch glasses. And I also like if you love DIY, you go to Home Depot. There is a big factory who make most of the power tools brand selling in the Home Depot, the Milwaukee, the brand like that. And I also get involved in the project to make a lot of the espresso coffee maker. Those like selling in the William and Sonoma, the brands like the Nespresso, Fairview, brand like that. So this is some of the background of me and what kind of project that I do. So from all this experience, I learned I cannot say that I learned a lot about the inside out of of manufacturing. How to pick good material, how to pick the right method to make the products can make the total difference in the outcomes with end products in terms of cost and the quality. So I later on I also founded the Hong Kong 3D Printing Association. With that experience, I get a chance to work even more with a lot of the product designer and a lot of the people who have brilliant idea and wanted to create their own product. But they come to me, and then a lot of them they express their biggest challenge. So when you think of creating a new products or Kickstarter project, a lot of people immediately think about design and even crowdfunding. The biggest challenge that keep the founder up at night is actually dealing with the factory and the manufacturing. A lot of them they have limited resources or connection to pick the right manufacturer to make their products. A lot of them when they finally get a chance to talk to me, they will express that because the Ami, can you help me? Because I put a lot of money to start tooling, and now I'm stuck with that factory. I cannot just move the tooling to another factory to start it over. And now the factory told me there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 problems, and I need to pay additional cost to do the modify, like the tooling modifications, and they said like there's the estimate time of finishing it of maybe 1 month later, or there's a lot of uncertainty after all. And what should I do? I thought I already put a lot of our budget into marketing, and we got so good of the results. We got so much of the good traction. People love our products, and we can't wait to manufacture the product and then ship it here, and then we can ship out to our clients. But we are stuck. What should I do? I got a lot of like question like that. And when I go deeper and ask them more question, is the problems comes from regionally. I will ask them. So how you found this factory? Uh, at first place. They said, oh, search online, that's the first thing they do first. And then maybe, oh, I have friends who know this factory. So, I contact this factory and they said, they promise they can do that. They can make the products with no problems, and they estimate the timing, is everything is great when we first communicate. But now, all the problems, appear. I don't know what to do. So I realized that, sometimes when they first get in touch with the factory, the communication or the expectation, and even the factory thought that, oh, this is a great product, because, usually the hardware founder, they're very good at pitching their products. And, and the great things is, a lot of these new products, they really have a very great features that attract people because it is not traditional products, it is not something already in the market. So they must have something that capture people's attention, and the factory would love to take some project like that. But anyhow, like a lot of the situation, they contact the OEM, we call OEM manufacturer, and there is some literature about OEM manufacturer you need to know. Um, when they check on the website and see a OEM well-established manufacturer, that means they are making something with some big clients, and they are making some things in a big quantity, and they have most likely, if they are like, let's say, a speaker company, they will make speaker every day with the same way. So when you have a new products, brand new products, you are not sure what material you're gonna use. Is there something new that I can integrate to that design to make it even better than the products already in the market? The OEM factory might not have the solution for you. And not to mention, the first thing they will ask you, okay, so now the estimate for start the tooling, normal consumer, small products, at least 50,000 of the US dollars to start the tooling. And you don't even know if this product can sell. So for a lot of the Kickstarter founder, they are really hesitant because, a good Kickstarter fundraising, crowdfunding, if they can raise $50,000, that's a pretty good, result, right? If you can raise 10,000, $100,000, that's great. But, you need to allocate the cost from doing marketing and then your internal R&D labor cost. And also, like, starting the tooling is already cost me $50,000. Not to mention, after the tooling is set, you need to place an order of the MOQ, minimum order quantity of 2,000 pieces. So this is the combination of, like the whole budgeting, is a big issues that stopped a lot of these great ideas to come to life. So my background, because I start from business, I started business instead of engineering. So when I get involved in a new product project, I give a lot of headache to my team, I think, because I always ask questions based on the like marketer point of view. So the four P's questions, as a marketer, you must know the price, how much are we gonna sell these products, how much are you planning to sell these products? So how much are we, what is the maximum price that, the cost of these products, we can handle? And the 4B's problems, is always raised up, and I always, ask this question, and my engineer and the PM was like, where you come from? Why just focus of, make creating these things and make it exist, right? The cost does matter, right? Eventually, after you make the products, if the cost is too high, the market is is not gonna be able to accept that. It's not gonna be great, right? So we really need to start thinking before we start tooling. Um, and that's the trick. That's one of the very important takeaways for people who want to create and eventually make their products a success. So after I find out all these problems, I always ask myself, how can I come up with some solutions to help this hardware startup? I really hate to see startup founders come, burning all the money in the tooling and and fail. So I come up with this hybrid tooling solutions for them. So when I say hybrid, I love this word because it gives people imaginations and flexibility. And it can actually, like, apply to, similar to the Toyota hybrid car. It's the combination of, different, for the car, it is the combination of different energy source. So it is the matter of what, how, and when, the combination. It actually, up to a different product life cycle, different stage of the product life cycle. I want to take this example. So this is a experimental project we do. So we are trying to design a all-in-one cooking gadget for camping. So this is a modular design, it's stackable design. So it's called a stack. So we first, do the design with the 3D printing prototyping. I have the, original first version of this 3D printed prototype here. And that's the final product over there. So we go through the process of 3D printing. I got this 3D printing parts like in 2 days after the final drawing is confirmed. So we play around with the 3D printing prototype, because we try to do the stackable design. So we try to test the different mechanism of, building these things and have them, different parts stick together. And one of the concept we try to do, very important things is try to prevent using like screw or other, extra work doing it, eventually at the end at the assembly line, because that means, labor cost, I had another project, is a garbage bin. Originally the design, it needs like 23 screw to fix all the parts, just that, the worker, doing all the work with that, especially, of course, if you go to the mass production, you can design automated like equipment to help you do the schooling. But when you do focus on the like smaller quantity, now I think we have this campaign of like focusing on the 0 to 1,000 quantity and another story. So when you go to OEM factory, because they do mass production, when you do smaller production, they don't want to take your job, honestly, because it's too much of the headache for them. And so for these products, it's easier for me to carry the small miniature 3D printed, when I demonstrate, every time when I demonstrate and talk to my clients about, oh, okay, how we're gonna make this really helps. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, the first step of the hybrid is what? So what are we gonna design? So we are gonna design these products, to the camper. They love to cook, and it got multifunction. That's the best things. When you go to the wild, you have one gadget and it can cook different things. That's the design concept. Like first things like the value we want to bring to the consumer. So we want to make this product light. So what kind of material we are going to use? Are we going to use, metal? Can we use plastic? Probably not, because this one, is going to use on top of the like campfire. So we'll pick aluminum. When we pick aluminum, do we pick metal? Also, we pick metal. I mean, so when you pick metal, do we pick aluminum, steel, stainless steel, zinc alloy? There's different, nature or like weight, different kind of alloy. So eventually we pick the aluminum. But when you look at these photos or that final products, if you go to the one die cast factory, that is one of my expertise. So I go to die cast factory. Even myself, I would go back to my comfort zone when I try to make something. So I go to my most familiar die cast factory, right? And the design and the engineer, helped me to design this tooling and give me a estimate of the cost. Why I'm holding this parts. This is the magic of how to save money here. So this is the middle pass, this is the highest pass, of whole products. So when you say, when we do die cast, it is a method of creating a die and then, injecting the melted metal to form the shape. So if I use die cast to do this pass, as you see this pass, this is actually the the tooling gonna be biggest among all this because this is flat. This is relatively flat, right? This is flat. But this is the most deepest 3D shape of the design, right? So I talked to my engineer. No, this die cast tooling is gonna cost me too much. Let's find another way. And the shape of this pass is actually relatively flat like this, right? So eventually we change the, the kind of tooling we make this pass. We change it from die cast to metal fabrication. With this change, the original cost of the tooling was $30,000 to $1,500. That's a big change. And the time for making this tooling, regionally, it takes at least a month, 30 to 45 days to be, safe. Fabrication tooling, it only takes 1 week to make these parts, and it can do in a small quantity. So my initial investment for this whole products, basically drop at least 30%. So of course, in order to do this, there is slight changes of the structure of this parts need to be made. And this is, how we, make small changes in the design, in the CAD design, to save a whole bunch of money. It's totally worth it. So this is just one of the example. And then another dimension is like, we will talk to the founder based on their sales forecast to design when we use 3D printing, additive manufacturing, or CNC machining to make certain parts, and when is the good time to start the tooling for that part. And a lot of the time, for brand new products, the design is keep changing and changing. If you pay a lot of money to start a tooling right at the beginning, it's hard for you to keep changing and changing with the traditional tools. So this is some of the way that we help the clients to save money is, pick the right material because different material means different toolings. Whether we should, what kind of tooling we should start to make the same parts and when to switch from some prototyping or like 3D printing, CNC machining to building a permanent molding. That's the 3 questions. So now I want to further go to will be the future of this product development. For our team, we are really into figuring out how AI can help the whole product development process. So back then, like the case I just explained, it took people to work in the manufacturing business like for many years to have this kind of inputs. What if we can train the machines to make this decision? It's not impossible, right? there's a lot of, for me, because I work on a lot of cases, so all the data or, a lot of this experience get me the information to an analysis, like what way is the best way. I might be wrong because, I might be wrong, but, for me, right now, I really want to get in touch with, some like people in the machine learning area, then maybe, we can get together and brainstorm something about it. So I have this, dream of eventually building something that's, what if AI can, co-pilot in the design? When we first do the drawing, should we design the wall thickness, like how much is the wall thickness is the most ideal? Can AI like help us make this decision? Can AI make this decision based on some cost data? Um, and based on some like machine manufacture performance, because a thicker, thinner wall or thicker wall, um, may have different defective weights during the manufacture process. And it's something that even like, manufacturable. Because sometimes if you have a hash, like a sharp shape, sharp corner, it's not easy to release from the mold. That is some of the consideration. What is like when I say earlier, when is the best to starting a tooling? So what if like we can drag from the marketing or sales figure to do this prediction for a company? What if we can drag the sales figure to help the designer or the company to decide when to launch the second version of the products, when to launch the third version based on the market response or popularity of the products. I think all this question can be improved or get it more, will help a lot in the product development or manufacture making decision. So after all, I really wish that like, AI can be integrated in this product development uh, process, because that can leave the room for people to be more creative in designing products for human use. Eventually, designing a product, hardware products is for a person to buy it or get it to improve their daily life. So there is only human being can know like what kind of product and what features to design, they can, they can bring the value and enjoyment for a person. So I really hope that AI can help do all the dirty, like all the hard work. I mean, and leaving, more space and more space for us as human to do the design for, improving our daily life problems. That's my hope. So if any of you, agree with my theory and, you are in the software and design like area, feel free to connect and we can exchange more idea about this topic. And at the end, I think my conclusion is the future of manufacturing doesn't belong to only the big company who have limited budgets. It belongs to innovators who are willing to rethink the way how things are made. So here's the end of my presentation of today. Thank you very much.
So we're gonna do some Q&A. Thank you very much, Amy, for that. Great presentation. I'll let you use this microphone so I can walk around. And if you have a question, please raise your hand. I've got a couple of hands already, so stay right here.
Thank you, great presentation. My supply chain background loves hearing about optimization, but I work in waste, and when I hear that you go from 23 screws to glue, I think about the challenges that poses to the repairability and the end-of-life disposal, because e-waste is a big problem. So I'm wondering, is that a factor from your standpoint? Do you help educate your customers, or are you not really thinking about the end of life?
Did you say, sorry,
That should be, just talk into it.
okay, sorry.
Oh.
Can you talk a little closer?
So, okay, so let me confirm your question. You mean like I mentioned like 23 screw to, other way to do the assembly. It's not include the glue.
Oh, so I guess the question was, do you think about how easy it is for a customer to repair a product they buy, or about the end of life? What happens when it breaks and has to be thrown away? Do you think about how easy it is to recycle the product when you think about making these changes to the manufacturing?
Yes, totally. This is
Thank
a
you.
big topic, nowadays in design and manufacturing. That's about the sustainable manufacturing. So whenever we start a design project nowadays, at first, I say like the hybrid, we talk about like what to make, like what kind of material we pick. We always like prefer to go for the recycled material. So this is one of another experience I have. I work with a company, they recycle PET material. Surprisingly, when you see the PET product, after they recycle it, it can break into different forms. It can go back to like the region like injection, like the little like the pet material, but it can also reform it like a thread, like things that you can make clothes. So material science is one of the big topic that my team always work with the new material company to integrate this new idea. But for we actually facing this problems for tradition products because the price is already so competitive in the market. It is harder for these products manufacturer to adapt to new material. Because for a new product, even just a plastic product or recycled plastic product, when they do manufacture, how they adjust the setting of the machines, the speed of injecting the material into the die, or other setting, that for a daily mass production manufacturer, sometimes they have this resistance of adapting to new material. So that is also why we love to introduce recycle or like this eco-friendly material to new products, because the whole idea of a new product is making something with new features and something that the user most likely will be more open for this new idea, new material, something like that. I hope I answer your question. Yeah.
Great talk, Tommy. One of the reasons why I'm here is I live in San Marino along with Joe and John. By the way, John is our new city council. So give him a round of applause. We call him Councilman John for now. My son is in the San Marino Titanium Robotics team. He is a co-captain of the CAD. He did all the CADing. We have CNC machines. We have 3D printers. So they're building like $20,000 robots. It's sponsored by JPL and Raytheon. And so we also have a business side team that does the community outreach and sponsorship for SMBs and so forth. And they made it to Worlds competition in Houston last year. So it's like over 100 teams around the world competing. And so I wish my son was here, but he's at school. And I think the speech is recorded, but I'd love to invite you over to talk to the team, both on the hardware manufacturing side as well as on the business side, because I think there's a lot of applicability for them, like what they're doing now and how that applies to like the job, like what you do in the future. So.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hey, Amy, great talk. So I'm in the space of AI and machine learning. Recently I actually found a software online where you could do text to TED, meaning that you type in some text, right? And then pretty much your output is some type of CAD diagram. Now, have you used something like this in conjunction with your tooling here or with your tech stack? Well, I'd love to hear any thoughts about some of these AI assisted software out there that could be good companion to some of the hardware that's in manufacturing space today. Thank you.
Yes, the answer is, since, we work with a lot of, the factory, and the factory, they have already have their mature way of, doing certain things. So this is something that my team, also like explore. And in fact, the SolidWorks, they all this like major software company, they are doing a lot of work is in developing this kind of AI, integrating the AI into their software. I believe, they already have some beta version for designing. Because I think they like, they are in the stage. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're in the stage of, collecting or analyzing a lot of data to create this learning process for their software. But this is definitely, is something that's, will be applying in one of the major parts of the product development in the software.
Question.
Amy, happy Friday. Thanks for sharing your expertise. My name is Justin. My background's in embedded system photonics, so this is very topical. And my question builds on what we were talking about with Copilot in the last question. But my initial reaction is it seems like there's a capability gap right now between understanding hybrid tooling and future like assisted design systems that ingest this data and help you like use AI to design like a cube, right? If I'm working with a outsourced engineering team or a vendor that has very mature like, tooling and molding processes, and they don't have the understanding for how to design this, because to me, this is a bottleneck. It's not tooling cost, but it's capability and engineering expertise to design a hybrid part. Do you have any recommendations for how to close that gap? Let's call it like 2 to 4 years before a AI co-pilot for hardware design is mature. So in the next 2 years, what can we do to close that gap? Short of hiring like the best engineers in the world, because if you don't have money for tooling, you can't hire that engineer either. So, yeah, I would appreciate any advice there. Thank you.
So let me clarify your question. It's like in the AI or software developer point of view, how can we you know develop some solution to close this gap that originally need to be like very experienced, like manufacturer people to solve these problems or, for this hardware startup or, okay, sure. I think my answer will be, there are steps to develop the software. Although I'm not a software engineer, I don't know how to code, but I already have a lot of this idea in my mind, actually. Like I mentioned earlier, there are three main problems we need to solve. First of all is, first, of course, for the designer or the project founder, they already know, what is thing in the market and what kind of products or added feature to the products, they want to build to solve the product, the human problems. So now when the project come to us, we need to pick what kind of material or what kind of material or what kind of method we need to make in order to deliver this value of the products, right? So the first problems I would say like material, right? So if I make the same parts, like I said, with different metal material, even though we already decided it's metal, can we do simulation of if we made it with aluminum? What if we made it with zinc alloy? only this material, zinc alloy is 3 times of the weight of aluminum. So if we make the same products with aluminum and zinc alloy, is already just the weight of the products make a big difference of the end products, come out of the markets, right? So can we, so the first, if I can do coding, we can develop a software. I think the first problem is what kind of material is the best material for these products in terms of the pricing, in terms of the strength, in terms of the, different features. Can we, analyze this problem with the help of a software? So can we input thousands of the case, like existing case, and then teach the machines, to eventually make the decision by themselves. So once we decide what the material is, then we decide, whether we make this pass with this material currently with the CNC machines, or is it a good time for us to build a tooling? Or like this case, do we build the tooling, the aluminum tooling, like die cast tooling or fabrication tooling? So what's the cost? What if at that stage we already can input the sales forecast, to help make the decision. So I think there are steps to to develop some software to help, closing this gap.
Amy. Got one
Last
last
question.
question I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna put you on the spot too. So you know what? So you talked about product development, prototyping, and manufacturing. And when it comes to product development, a lot of that has to do with price points. What that product is going to sell for. Then you kind of reverse engineer and say, okay, what could I afford to manufacture at? So I can reach that price point so that I can sell whatever quantity that they project. My gripe when it comes to product development and product management, not product development of the products these days, is how quickly, how short of a period they last. When you look at refrigerators, washer dryers, things like that, it seems like they break down a lot more frequently compared to in the past. So my question to you is that a factor of the cost, driving down the cost? Is it a factor because of planned obsolescence, which is what I want to put you on the spot on? Because, you got, companies that want recurring revenue, and, one way to do that is to make sure the products don't last too long. So talk about that part of it when it comes to the business model for a company, because, as a business, I want to, come up with a product I want to generate demand, but at the same time, I need to.
You know,
Generate.
so in my family culture, we eat rice, right? We cook rice. I remember back then, the Japanese brand, National, is the best brand. You got one rice cook, it can use for 3 generations. It never go, it can use forever. So I was always thinking to this day, when I look at a vintage rice cook, I was like, oh, this product is amazing. Because, that is, okay. I think the roots of product design is supposed to be making something that doable and reliable and in a cost that is generally acceptable. Yeah. But that's so your question is actually is a great question. First of all, it's a combination of like the engineering kind of mindset versus the business kind of mindset kind of question. So if you ask me, like I said earlier, because I'm like, I start with business and eventually, I go deep into manufacturing. So, we really need to pick. Sometimes we gotta like give and take, like, okay, if we set this product's price point, for me and my team, of course, we try to find the best solutions. But if we only do a certain things in a would say like normal procedure, like, generally things, if every day I do the same thing in the same way. Now you want me to cut the cost or lower the price, I will, redesign the product with a thinner wall. Things like that. That's normal company will do. But what if we think out of box? What if we pick a different material? What if we change the design a little bit that doesn't, affect the performance, but it also, can, can keep the, keep, lower the cost. And what if we don't waste so much of the money initially at the tooling? Some of the tooling, is waste, it's gonna be a waste at the beginning of the development stage. So what if we be very careful from the very beginning to save money, not to waste the money at the very beginning, so that we can keep the overall cost for products, lower. So I think that's the general idea to answer your question.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, going on, we're gonna take a picture. So can people move forward? Because there's way too much space right here. You want to stand here and I can take a picture from this angle? We gotta take pictures or this didn't happen.